The Los Angeles Chargers have got their work cut out for them. Even after bringing in some solid talent through the draft and free agency in 2024, there are still quite a few holes to fill. But here's the good news. Jim Harbaugh and Joe Hortiz have a full offseason ahead of them. That's plenty of time to shape this roster into something special for 2025. Look, I've been studying this team inside and out, and I've got to break down what I'm seeing as their biggest needs right now. More importantly, I want to walk you through exactly how they should tackle each one of these issues. So stick around, because we're about to get into some serious roster analysis. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. All right, let's talk tight end first. You know what's crazy about the NFL right now? The tight end position is probably thinner than it's been in years. Look around the league. You've got maybe a handful of guys who can completely change a game, and then everyone else is just there. They can start, sure, but they're not exactly keeping defensive coordinators up at night. That's been the Chargers' story at tight end for, 4 seasons now? They've had guys who can play, but nobody who really makes defenses sweat. After watching the Raiders grab Brock Bowers last year, the Chargers might finally have their shot at landing a difference maker. Keep your eyes on Michigan's Colston Loveland or Penn State's Tyler Warren. Both these guys could be game changers. Now, here's an interesting name to watch. Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green. He'll probably be there in the second round, and while he's not as complete a tight end as Loveland or Warren, this guy might be the best pure receiver of the bunch. But here's the thing. If you're looking for someone who can impact every single aspect of the game every single week, he might not be your guy. Electric with the ball in his hands? Absolutely. But there's more to the position than just catching passes. Now, we need to talk about the offensive line, specifically that interior. Listen, anyone who watched that wild card game against Houston saw it. That interior line basically collapsed. It wasn't pretty. And knowing Jim Harbaugh's philosophy about offensive linemen being straight-up weapons for the offense, you better believe this is sitting right at the top of his priority list. Now, I've looked at the free agent market this year, and I'll be honest, it's not exactly loaded with talent. But here's the thing. Bringing in a proven NFL veteran makes more sense than rolling the dice on a rookie. I mean, sure, everyone wants to find the next Creed Humphrey as the Chiefs did, but those guys don't grow on trees. Speaking of centers, well, and this is interesting, there's Drew Dalman from Atlanta. He's got that Stanford connection with Harbaugh, which doesn't hurt. But more importantly, look at his numbers. A 78.8 PFF grade in 2024. Yes, he missed about half the season with an injury, but when he was on the field, the guy was playing at a really high level. That's the kind of proven talent worth taking a shot at. Here's something interesting about the edge rusher situation this year. The free agent class is pretty underwhelming. That's why I think the Chargers need to attack this from both angles, free agency and the draft. Check out Malcolm Kuntz, 8 sacks, 9 tackles for loss back in 2023. Yeah, he'll be 27 next season and missed all of 2024 with that injury, but this is exactly the kind of low-risk, high-reward move that fits Hortiz's playbook, especially with Jesse Minter running that defense. Another name to keep on your radar? Tershawn Wharton from Kansas City. It is always interesting when you can potentially grab talent from within the division. But let's talk draft, and this is where it gets interesting. Day 2, maybe early day 3, that's where I see the Chargers making their move for an edge rusher. 2 names jump out. Josiah Stewart from Michigan and Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State. Both of these guys could provide some serious value in those middle rounds. Now let's talk about the wide receiver situation because it's pretty straightforward this year. The Chargers have a clear need at wide receiver despite having promising rookie Ladd McConkey on the roster. McConkey, a second-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, proved his value. He's a playmaker now, but he needs support. In free agency, 2 names stand out, T. Higgins and Chris Godwin. The Chargers should go all in on Higgins. His size and contested catch ability would perfectly complement McConkey's speed and route running. If Higgins isn't an option, Godwin, despite coming off an injury, could be a great veteran addition at a potential discount. If neither player joins, the Chargers could target the draft. Double dipping on day 3 as they've done before might add valuable depth. Pairing McConkey with talented rookies could give the Chargers an explosive and versatile receiving core for the future. Now, turn to the defensive tackle because this is a situation that needs some serious attention. First things first, Poona Ford absolutely needs to be back in LA. The way he played in Jesse Minter's system, that's the kind of production you can't just replace, especially at the price he's likely to command. But here's where things get concerning. The depth behind Ford is, honestly, pretty rough. Look at Otito Ogbonnia. Sure, he started in base packages, but week after week, his PFF grades were, well, let's just say they weren't pretty. Scott Matlock has basically become more of a fullback than a defensive tackle at this point. Then you've got Justin Eboigbe, a 4th-round pick from 2024, who barely saw the field despite that decent draft investment. And Morgan Fox? Yeah, he can rush the passer, but he's hitting 31 next season. and he's heading to free agency. Now, Tier Tart, there's an interesting case. When he got his opportunities in the rotation, he showed some real flashes. Bringing him back for depth, that could be a smart move. But let's look at some other options because this gets interesting. Keep your eyes on two guys from Dallas, Chauncey Golston and Odighizuwa. Both these guys are hitting their prime at 27 next year, and both just had their best seasons in terms of sacks. Golston with 5.5 and Odighizuwa with 4.5. Here's the kicker. With Dallas going through a coaching change, we might see some of these guys from the old regime hitting the market. That could be a real opportunity for the Chargers to pounce. So, with the offseason wide open, the Chargers have plenty of opportunities to address their needs and set the stage for a strong 2025 season. From adding veteran leadership to drafting fresh talent, every move will count. The foundation is already there with players like Ladd McConkey and Poona Ford. Now, it's all about finding the right pieces to complete the puzzle. Chargers fans, stay tuned. We're just getting started on this journey to build a championship team.